multi-group sector mental health forum provides support for voluntary organisations involved in the field of mental health. The forum brings together a diverse group of over 60 voluntary sector organisations who share a common interest in delivering mental health services which are accessible, flexible and responsive to the needs of individuals. Members of the forum have a great deal of organisational expertise as well as experience on the development and delivery of mental health services. A steering group of regular members meets monthly to consider the development of the forum and current key mental health issues. The forum is a member of the Community Network for Manchester. This enables the forum to bring mental health issues to more people. Many of the forum's meetings are facilitated by its founder member and driving force, John Butler, of Manchester Alliance for Community Care.
The forum was set up about 5 years ago, and the main reason for setting it up was as a response to a lot of changes that were happening in mental health in Manchester at that time. There'd been a big review of all of Manchester mental health services with a view to setting up a new organisation, which is now the Manchester Mental Health and Social Care Trust. At that time it was quite important that as a sector we had a way to come together so that we could understand all the changes, what was happening and what was being proposed, so that we could then have a voice in that and have some say influence the outcome of how this new organisation was created. At that point it was quite important that we were involved in that process and we had a way collectively of having a voice influencing how those changes came about, but as much as anything just keeping up to speed to everything that was happening, not just around mental health but other government policy as well.
The forum gives a voice to many different communities and draws on the widest possible range of resources and energies. The 4 projects featured in this film really show the diversity and vitality of all the organisations active within the forum.
Probably best to start off in terms of Crisis Point to talk a little bit about the history. Kind of been running about 5 years. There's some user groups in North Manchester were really kind of crucial in setting that up, really. What Crisis Point does, I think it's kind of got 4 main key bits to its service. What probably most people know us as is we offer an accommodation service for people in crisis, short stay, which is for up to 6 nights. But that isn't the only thing we do. The other key things we do is we do quite a lot of work by telephone. So we've got a telephone helpline which opens every evening when other services are closed. So we're open up to midnight. And throughout the rest of the time, throughout the day, we offer telephone advice and signposting to anybody that wants to call us. That's people that use mental health services, people that may be thinking about that, and also professionals. For some people, kind of coming into a crisis accommodation centre is just not practicable. They've got family commitments, they may have a job where they work nights, or they may have children. So we offer non-residential one-to-one work as well. So altogether we've kind of got those 4 services, but I suppose the core one is the crisis accommodation. Well, anybody can refer to the service. So about half the people that kind of come to us, they ring us up themselves, and it's what's called a self-referral. And maybe the other half of the people, they're referred by the professionals. So those are the 2 main ways into the service, really. We take a referral by telephone, and that's kind of the first point. We try to keep that as short as possible. Service users have told us that they don't want a long telephone call to have to describe over the telephone what their crisis is about. So it might take 10-15 minutes, that first telephone call. Then what happens is the team get together, they have a brief discussion about what these persons' needs are and what we might need to do to be able to bring them in to actually kind of go through what we call as an assessment. It's a bit of a kind of medical term, but really what an assessment is the individual who's in crisis, they come to the project and they sit down with the project worker and they have a discussion for about an hour about what their crisis is. Once that has happened, the team again, there's only usually 2 or 3 people on shift, the team again have a brief discussion about what their needs are, whether we can meet them, and if possible we'll offer them a stay straight away. The whole process from first ringing up to possibly coming in just takes a few hours. I think what we're ultimately trying to do is we're trying to work with somebody's own definition of crisis, so it's not what other people think the crisis is, it's what they think the crisis is, and we try our very best to work with that and help them get through it.
HARP is a voluntary sector mental health organisation and registered charity working in Manchester with people with mental health problems. It's an organisation that's been established now for over 10 years, and it's expanded over the last 2 years into the 4 projects that we currently have. 2 of the projects are based at the Zion Centre in Hume. One of those is the Advice Work service. That's a very busy service that provides help in the form of benefits, housing, homelessness and advocacy to people with mental health problems. We've also got HARP Cafe, a well-established community cafe that's been running now for about 8 years or so. That's the main emphasis with the cafe is not only on serving really good meals to the local community and to the people who use the Zion, but it also provides training opportunity for people with mental health problems.
Well, I came here originally as a volunteer. That was through the Big Life company, and I was doing a few days voluntary, and then I like the atmosphere in the kitchen. It's nice and friendly. As I said, primarily it's a mental health project, so you've got people with different abilities, so obviously people are more cooperative rather than competitive here. And I decided I liked it here. I was offered a job here with Sharon, and I'm now working towards qualifications which will make me a chef.
We've got the Engage project, which has been established now for nearly 2 years. That is a unique project because we're the only voluntary sector or local voluntary sector organisation running assertive outreach services. In the majority of England, it's usually statutory services and NHS trusts that run assertive outreach to people. The project operates 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it's designed to work intensively with people who've disengaged from mainstream mental health services. Going on to the Young People's Project in Levenshulme, that's one of our newest projects that's been operational since just over a year, since last January. That's offering a very, very accessible service to young people between the ages of 15 to 25 in Levenshulme, and so far over the year we've seen over 200 young people.
YASP stands for Young Adult Advice and Support Project. What we do is we work with 15 to 25 year olds who for a number of reasons are experiencing a crisis. The emphasis of the service is on young people experiencing distress, although we don't define ourselves as a mental health project to young people because otherwise they wouldn't use the project because it's stigmatising. So what we do is we help young people who are in crisis around their housing, around their benefits. Maybe they've been kicked out of the home by the family, maybe they've got problems with accessing a GP so that they can get help with a script for substance misuse problems. Maybe they've got problems because they're sleeping on a park bench because the mum's kicked them out because they've twocked, they've gone and stolen a car or have alleged to have stolen a car. We work with people from all sorts of different backgrounds, but mostly what we do is we work with young people to sort out their problems in a meaningful way, in a sustainable way, so that we make a difference to those young people's lives.
We've got different like sections. Mine is mental health, but we've got community development and health, and we had the youth worker last year, but this year we've got just a single women's, another, worker. So, but my, main role is to raise awareness in mental health awareness within Bangladeshi women and support them with their, health, mental health needs, and mostly primary care needs, and just work with them in one-to-one or group work, and sometimes do outreach, home visit, to isolated women or housebound women. Run different time of the year, different groups. At the moment we have health education, health and mental health, health education classes. So we have covered from diabetes, healthy eating to depression, anxiety, panic, and those kind of mental health topics as well as health topics. In these sessions, we encourage women to come and learn about their own health and be conscious of health, and also raise the topics women's issues. And a massage is also good for to relax your mind and feel good. So it's especially good for the people who can't sleep and have anxiety and things, so it releases all the stress and everything. So it's really important for mental health service user to come to these sessions. So we've got a nursery for the people who use our service during the day. Mother can either when she's doing her paperwork or upstairs if she's doing a session, either yoga, health education, any kind of, so she can be free and her child is downstairs looked after properly, and she can enjoy the sessions without being interrupted all the time.
The Lesbian and Gay Foundation was formed 3 years ago, amalgamation of Healthy Gay Manchester and Manchester Lesbian and Gay Switchboard Services. It's primarily a mental health, HIV prevention and sexual health agency, recognising the links between mental and sexual health. Amongst our services, we have our mental health services. We have a face-to-face counselling service which provides support and is delivered by a team of 25 lesbian, gay, bisexual and transsexual counsellors.
Basically what it is that, it's for the lesbian and gay and bisexual and trans community, for people to come forward to discuss issues, problems that they might have, things that are getting them down in a kind of safe setting. And I think that's one of the most important things, really. It's for people to be able to talk about stuff that they might not talk about to a standard counsellor, you see. And I think that's why one of the reasons why it's such a powerful kind of organisation in a sense.
We also have a helpline that is our main referral route to our services, which operates every day from 6 till 10 p.m.
And the helpline is really at the centre of the work that goes on at the LGF. It's the main point of contact for people outside, ringing up, whether that be for help, information, advice, support, and people ring up for any reason when they ring up the helpline. But the helpline also not only is the main point of contact for people outside, it's also the main point of contact for referring people through into other parts of the agency. So they may speak to a caller and decide, as the conversation goes on, that person might benefit from coming to one of our group work programs. So they can refer people through to one of the various groups that we have. They could refer people through to the counselling service. They can also act as supporting any campaigns that we have through the magazine. Or it could be something as straightforward as people have picked up on the safer sex packs, not quite sure of the correct way of putting on a condom, so they might be ringing up asking for advice. So really, as I say, the helpline is there running throughout the agency.
All our services are primarily run by our team of volunteers, of which we've got 120, but we also have a staff team. In terms of our sexual health and HIV services, we offer what we call safer sex packs, which are condoms and lubricant for gay men. It's probably our most successful scheme, and we have about 1 million condoms that we distribute per year around Greater Manchester.
So I'll pass it to you in here.
We also have a magazine called Out Magazine, which is a community notice board, a health resource, and a whole range of other things for the lesbian and gay community.
This is our magazine. It comes out once a month. It's for the lesbian, gay, bi and trans community of Greater Manchester.
It goes to all the bars in the village, all around Greater Manchester, Bolton, Wigan, Rochdale, Stockport, Salford and Trafford, and it also goes to the GUM clinics, the libraries, hairdressers, basically anywhere we can get it in.
We have a lot of contributors from outside the organisation, and it's a really useful tool in getting messages across throughout the region, and I feel that it's just indicative of how we have a preventative approach to mental health work here. Just finally, on Not For Us, the most exciting thing for us at the moment is our website. We have just recently found out that we get 1 million hits per year to the website. A lot of them are national hits, but we also get international hits. So for me, again, it raises the issue that the voluntary sector is at the core of service provision and innovative work throughout the region and nationally.
The forum works on 3 levels. Firstly, whole network events held once a year for all members of the forum, including service users. Secondly, focus groups that meet to address a particular issue and then disband. And thirdly, the steering group, which coordinates the forum's activities. At the relaunch of the forum in February 2002, we agreed on 5 areas of work.
Broadly, these are broken down into things that we can do for ourselves and things that we need to work through other people, organisations and planning structures in order to achieve. The first one of these was about improving access to services. Through these, we went through the local strategic partnerships to secure funding, which would be used to develop a link worker service and translation services in the city, so that people from different backgrounds would be able to access a whole range of services that they required. Another area identified was to do with training opportunities for voluntary sector organisations involved in the forum. One way that we've done this is to use part of our Community Empowerment Fund monies to fund training opportunities. Organisations were invited to write in with ideas that they have about things that they thought would be useful for their organisations. The next area involved increasing our influence in policy and planning. In particular, members were keen to see that aspects of discrimination and stigma were tackled. There was a feeling that there was a need for more preventative services and more promotion services, and in particular that what we needed to do was find ways to demonstrate, to give evidence really, that where we were acting in what were seen as preventative ways, that this was in fact the case. This is an area that we want to explore further because it is a very difficult area in which to prove. It's not the sort of thing that's easy to measure and evidence. This work we want to carry out in partnership with people who have responsibility for commissioning services, so that it's not just about what voluntary sector organisations and service users are saying. We want these issues to be owned by people much wider than the membership of the forum. The fourth area of work involved developing more in the way of mental health promotion and preventative services. What's acknowledged within the forum is a lot of the activity carried out by organisations is aimed at preventing the occurrence of mental health problems in the first place, or for people who already have mental health problems, minimising the chances that they're likely to have a breakdown again in the future, or say a breakdown, but at least minimising the chances that they may need to go into hospital in the future. One of the difficulties around this is getting this kind of work funded or acknowledged, being able to provide an evidence base for this sort of work. These sorts of issues, we want to use the local strategic partnership to take these issues forward. We realise this is an area of work, we can't do this all on our own. We have to work through and with other partners, particularly those partners who have responsibility for commissioning mental health services. Another key area that we wanted to develop was how we can manage to work together much more effectively, how we could manage to share our skills and expertise. And in some ways we've only discovered how we can do that by doing things like making this video. The production of this video in itself has involved many members of the forum, and somehow the energy level within the forum members has really been raised by carrying out projects such as this or the development of the graphic materials. This has been quite an important discovery for us and has made us realise that there are lots of benefits and spin-offs from this, and it's through doing things like this that everybody gets a much clearer sense of what the forum's about and what can be achieved through it.
The forum will continue to grow as an active, credible, collective force for change, informing the local strategic plan, service delivery and development in positive and proactive ways.
From my point of view, I think the key thing about the forum is that it's a recognition of the amount of key work that is done in the city by the voluntary sector, delivering a lot of services which just aren't delivered by the statutory sector within the city.
I've been attending voluntary sector mental health forums meeting quite regularly. It's good for networking and also raising voluntary sector's issues to statutory bodies, any concern or any mental health issues.
For us, the benefits are twofold basically. Firstly, obviously, it gives us an opportunity to network with a whole range of mental health groups, and as a mental health professional myself, that's extremely beneficial in sense of where we're going with service provision, for example, and also for us to know exactly what else is out there. But the other thing is, for me, it's about collectivised action and basically capitalising on just the strengths within the voluntary sector, in the sense that obviously as a group we can push forward the agenda of the voluntary sector within the statutory sector through the group, but also it enables us to raise issues around mental health service provision and service users' needs as a group.
The thing about being involved in the forum is that it's a great opportunity for workers and organisations to come together who are working with people with mental health problems in Manchester. It's a great opportunity for a number of reasons. It's really good to be able to network with other people, to share ideas, and also it's great to be able to get together with the aim in mind of improving service delivery to people who are living with mental health problems.
I think what the forum does, it brings together independent voluntary sector mental health projects who, because of our scale, if you like, because some of us are quite small, some of us are bigger, it actually gives us a collective voice, so that if we're negotiating with the health authority or social services, it means that we can speak together as one voice about issues that are common to all of us, and I think that's an important aspect of the forum. I think what it also does is it helps us to network as individuals with each other, so we can work together cooperatively. We can do joint work, which means we can provide even better services with the very limited resources that we've got in the voluntary sector.
At the moment, the voluntary sector are trying to do more work on how we work together, on how we develop and use our collective experience to help each other, and how we use that experience to work with statutory colleagues to develop new kinds of services which bring all of those services together as part of a whole.